What is up, YouTube? And today we're going to be talking all about the 5-star headhunting Moonlight event. Basically, from this event, you can get any single Moonlight 5-star that you want for free as long as you're just headhunting with these points that you earned. These points are going to be obtained from actually doing your weekly quests and your daily quests. As you can see here, daily reputation and also the weekly reputation. At 100 points, you get a ton of points for this event, and you will use those points to actually roll your board until you find the unit that you want, and you can actually unlock them once you get to down here after I think about 20 days or so. And of course, with the extra points, you guys probably already know, you can actually buy some good stuff. So we're going to talk about which unit that you actually really want no matter what. I think, especially if you're new to the game, you probably don't know which unit is the best, and there's a lot of differing opinions on which Moonlight 5-star unit is the best. But I'm here to tell you, out of all the available Moonlight 5-stars, there's one unit that you really want as soon as you possibly can. That unit should not be a surprise to you guys. Some people think I have a raging hard-on for this unit, but I'm telling you, this unit is fucking insane in Epic 7, and that is Conquer Lilius. And that is because her kit is extremely powerful for PvP, right? You have an undispellable vigor buff. This is very powerful. This alone makes her pretty much overpowered. She also has a ton of provokes with her S2 because she cycles very quickly. She also has a barrier. She can dispel buff durations from the enemy side by 1 turn, which is insane. Decreased attack, insane. And she has a ton of damage with her S1 dual attack, which will bring like a random ally. If you bring a damage dealer, ton of damage, right? So she just does pretty much everything while having an insane speed tier, so you can actually make her very fast. As you guys can see, my Conquer Lilius, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty insane. I'd say definitely a better Conquer Lilius out there. You don't really have to aim for these stats, but it just shows that she can be very tanky, she can be very fast, she can be very slow, and like extremely tanky. There's a lot of builds you can actually use on her. And I think people really think that you need to make her super fast to be useful, but honestly, a Conquer Lilius at like 230, 240 speed is just as fine, as long as you have her on a artifact to make her tankier, and also possibly even like an effect in this build, or just anything in general, because she's just so strong. So I think this unit you definitely want. Now, a lot of people are also thinking about getting a more universal unit, right? What about like Meteor Cowrick, right? Super easy to build. You don't really need that much speed. You can just put him on pretty much all health and he's pretty good to go, and just a lot more reliable, less counters, people say, which might be true. But the one thing that actually separates Meteor Cowrick from Conquer Lilius, who are both available from the Moonlight Blessing for Season 2, is that Conquer Lilius in PvE is insane. Now, Meteor Cowrick's also very good for like Ancient Inheritance, but the reason why Conquer Lilius is so powerful is because of her S1. This random dual attack is extremely strong when you actually pair her with a hard-hitting damage dealer. This is very apparent in Hall of Trials. In Hall of Trials, a very common way to get SSS, or at least, I guess, like S or even A if you're new to the game, is by running Conquer Lilius with whatever damage dealer unit that fits that week. An example would be for like Kairon's week. You're going to see advantages, right? Mage heroes are granted attack and crit chance. When an ice elemental hero attacks, if they have 2 or more buffs, increases damage dealt by 30%. So you can bring like an ice mage with Conquer Lilius that has 2 or more buffs, and they'll be very powerful. And honestly, you don't even need those 2 or more buffs, because those buffs can be granted actually by Conquer Lilius, right? Because you have Conquer Lilius with that vigor buff, that counts as a buff. You also have a barrier that you can put on them, or you can just put it on an artifact that grants people a buff. An example would be like Nostalgic Music Box. At the end of the turn, grants a random buff to 1 random ally, probably one of her best artifacts in the game. I honestly should probably put her on it instead of Proof of Valor because mine's so fast. But this will also put a buff. So you can kind of see you can cheese Hall of Trials very easily, because the biggest way you actually do damage in Hall of Trials is when the boss is downed, and the down timer will make them actually take a ton more damage. You guys probably already know, and those down timers only progress through turns. So it's not by how many turns the boss takes, it's how many turns you take. So by having 2 units, you can actually have these units just pretty much just hit the boss over and over and do as much damage as you can without needing like support units to actually waste those turns. And the reason why Conquer Lilius is so good is because she has this dual attack, random ally, right? But if you only have 1 ally, then yeah, you're just be constantly chaining dual attacks. So with that in effect, you can actually have her with like her skills off even, or just manual it if you want to score very high. And then you can have like a unit like Milim here, which is very common in this strategy with Conquer Lilius, to actually be on a 0 speed full damage build like this, and you'll be able to actually get high scores on the boss. Now you guys are probably wondering, Hall of Trials, not really an area of content you need to worry about too much for your account progression, which is kind of wrong. I think that was true a while back because there were not a lot of exclusive equipments, But if we actually look at the amount of exclusive equipments now, also these exclusive equipments, but guys, they're pretty much needed to make these characters like viable, I'd say, because these exclusive equipments actually get balanced on characters' viability. So like if you don't have these exclusive equipments on units that use them, you're not going to be really like using them properly. For example, Cirilla, one of the best units for Rift now after it changes. Without her S3 decreased defense, you're going to be missing out on a big benefit of her, which is being able to defense break, right? Consistently. So yeah, you're going to see like there's a ton of exclusive equipments. We get new ones like every single month, and it's kind of outpacing how many of these Wisdom's Gazes you can actually get. So very early on into the game, you're going to want to start farming this. In the past, it wasn't really an issue, but now because Smilegate is just boo-booing all their mistakes with balancing with these exclusive equipments, it makes being able to do Holo Trials very important. And Conquerlius is the best Holo Trials unit in the game because she enables so many carries, so many easy compositions where you can only build one unit and pair it with her. And look, the list is just going on and on. Like I'm not even like close to being at the end of the list. You can see how many exclusive equipments there are, and some of these units, they want to use different ones for different situations, right? For example, you have Crow here. You want to use the S2 one for, honestly, it's really up to you. All of these are actually very good. Like S1 Provoke, very good in RTA, very good in Guild Wars. The S2 Charge with the speed buff, not used as often. The S3 Summon Siegfried, very good for Guild Wars. So you can see some of these units have viable options that can change how you want to play them. Like Sharoons has all three of them that are very good. There's like different things for everyone, even like Tempest Sirens, S3 Damage, S3 Dispel, and S1 Healing. These are all good depending how you play. So you can see you really need a ton of exclusive equipments now, and there's just so many in the game. Like I don't even know, I think there's more than 100. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a very healthy source of Wisdom's Gazes, which you actually will be able to do by having a good unit for Holo Trials. Now, Meteor Karak is still a very good option, don't get me wrong, but you can always get him later on from the Moonlight Blessing for free, just by playing through the game. But you want Conquerlius as soon as you can on your account because of Holo Trials, and she's just so good in PvP, man. Like, you can put her in your Guild Wars defense team, she's very good. Put her in your Arena defense team, she's very good. You can pick her in RTA. Obviously, there's some counters for now with like units like Moon Bunny Dominion. You can counter her right with the push-up. Don't look at my Moon Bunny Dominion. I don't use her with this like S2 and S3. But for the most part, guys, like there's not really super hard counters to Conquerlius because even though she gets countered, quote unquote countered, her vigor buff is just too powerful. Undispellable vigor, like just giving this to your entire team is just insane. Don't know how that got through balance. But yeah, you definitely want to make sure you have this unit no matter what, even if you're not into PvP, because like she's just extremely goated for Holo Trials, and Holo Trials is a very important area of content now. Like there's too many units that have exclusive equipments now, and moving forward, Smilegate is actually going to probably balance around exclusive equipments more and just release more exclusive equipments for worse units. So you definitely want to make sure you have a good source of these Wisdom Gazes and a good stockpile, because you never know what they're going to release in terms of exclusive equipments, and it just looks like they're releasing way too many than we actually get currency for, which is a huge reason why, even for my account, even though I look super shriveled up with no resources, I'm very stressed about these Wisdom Gazes because, yeah, I just don't have enough for these exclusive equipments, and if you try to craft them in your Alchemist Steeple, they're just not really good return rates. So yeah, definitely want to make sure you get Conquerlius, guys. She's extremely powerful. And if you guys disagree still, let me know in the comments down below what units you think are worth getting.